Hi, it's Sharon from Grace's Neighbor Sharon. I hope you enjoy the video. This video is part of the 5 Under 5 DIY challenge. It's put on every month, except we did take a break in January to grab some family time after the holidays. So now we're back swinging for the fences, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it after the first project. Project number 1. Okay, so following the jars and flowers theme, we have this tulip store hanging. All the supplies are from Dollar Tree with the exception of a jar from my collection, but Dollar Tree has some pretty cool jars that you could use if you wanted. Even the zip tie is from Dollar Tree. And I'm showing you the white ones, but they do use some black ones, but those are from Dollar Tree as well. I've had the Valentine jar sign since last year, but they have always seemed to have jar-shaped signs. I'm using 2 different kinds of tulips just to mix things up, as well as some greenery. And there's a piece of sandpaper that I recently purchased at Dollar Tree, and I'm using that after getting some water on the sticker, on the price sticker, and that seems to work for me. Once that dried off a little bit, I came in with my oatmeal chalk paint. I love this oatmeal chalk paint. It dries and it looks like celery, and I always want to call it celery, but it's really named oatmeal, and I just love the color of it. You can mix different colors with it. It gets some really cool results. So this time I'm coming in with some moss chalk paint, another one of my favorites, and I'm using the moss like I would use like black on white for a shadow in a jar. But I wanted to get some green in there because of the spring theme. So I just kind of played around till I had some shapes that, were kind of randomly looking like a jar. And we were going for more of a folksy type paint job. I wasn't trying to make it look realistic. And the moss comes out really nice with the jar. I'm glad I decided to use moss instead of gray or black. So then I remembered I needed the top of the jar for the front, so I take it off, and I don't show it, but I had to take a break and put on a band-aid because that friggin' silver thing cut me, and I should have been more careful. Here I poked some holes on either side of the jar after I laying the jar in the middle of the jar. Laying the real jar on top of the MDF sign jar. And once I had those little pokey holes, I took my drill and drilled a hole, and that will be on either side of the top of the jar, the lip of the jar. For now, though, I do want to pretty up the back, because since this is intended to be a door hanging, our doors have windows, and so just in case the back might be seen, I have this old shabby chic, I guess it's vinyl. I think I got it to be shelf liner like super long time ago, but for now it's going to be the back of my sign. And I like it because the yellowy greenish color kind of matches the celery color created by the oatmeal paint. After smoothing that down, I used my pokey tool again and just poked through the main holes on the front to get through the vinyl. And then I'm going to use my Dollar Tree super glue to attach the metal top of the jar. I like to use the super glue when metal is involved. I could put some hot glue on there, but the super glue is going to work just fine. It's not going to be moving around that much. Now I tried the white zip tie and realized it just wasn't big enough or thick enough. So I'm using the black tie. It's thicker, it seems more durable. I didn't like the way the jar was sitting though, so I do get a little bit of super glue and I put it right on the jar, like so. For now, the jar has some ribbon inside to hide the stems, but I do switch that out with some Spanish moss, and you will see that during the final reveal. For now, I'm just going to take this scarf. Instead of regular ribbon, I decided to use this scarf and just tied it in a bow. And I think it looks cool and old-fashioned. Okay, jumping in with a little bit more information about the playlist. It happens every month. I guess you call it rule is to do 5 projects that are under $5 to make for each project. Missi from Crafty Cove DIY and Emily from Farm Charm Chic are always our hosts. And then this month's guest host is Kendra from Late Night Creations. Their channel links as well as a link to the playlist will be in my description box below. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the projects. Project number 2. Continuing with the jars and flowers theme, this is a wood flower picks in a wood jar or faux wood jar. So again, all Dollar Tree supplies. 3 wood picks, $1 each. The jars $1, and the stickers. So 3, 4. It's around $5 if you wanted to recreate it. I created from my stash, so it didn't cost me anything. And you could always use handwriting instead of stickers, or if you have a Cricut or anything like that. So getting the prices sticker off the back, which now becomes the front. And I always like to use sandpaper on the adhesive part. It just seems to do a good job of getting that sticky part out and preparing it for painting. So sandpaper, I used a baby wipe to wash the whole back down. And then using the same paint as the previous project. Our celery looking oatmeal. Set that aside to dry and brought out the wood picks, and I decided on some shabby chic colors. So we're doing blue, pink, and orange. Even though I kind of wanted peach, I liked this orange that I had. So I did them just a plain even coat. I think it was only 1 coat each. And then I came in with some yellow for the middle. And I just painted the top. I didn't try to get in the in between because it's a raised swirl. So I didn't try and get like down into it, just on top to keep it nice and clean and not messy and gloppy. I have these colored baker's twine and I made little finger bows for each flower. And so when they were dry, I did a finger bow at the top of the stick there, and different color finger bow for each different color flower. Here I'm just figuring out how I want to put these in, and I decided on this configuration. Even though originally I wanted to stagger it, I decided this looked the best. I'm just holding them down, putting a line of hot glue on the back of the stem, and then pressing it down onto the jar, like so. I'm going to grab some of my regular twine there, the tan and white twine. I'm just going to wrap a little bit around the middle to hold them in place. You don't really have to do that if you don't want to. And then I decided on this tag. I was going to use a heart tag, but I haven't used any of these metal tags before, so painted it the same color with the plan to distress the edges to make it pop while it was on the jar. And while I was distressing, I decided to distress everything. We're talking the edges of the jar, the flowers, and the tag. But you know what? I might have overdone it with the tag, but I think the flowers really look good with that little bit of distress on them. They're just a little bit too bright and fake looking for my liking. And I think the distressing just really did the trick. Okay, so we're finishing up this project. I'm going to decide. I'm going to decide what color, and lowercase or uppercase as far as these letter stickers go. I end up choosing brown and blue, and I used lowercase and uppercase. So it's a little bit wonky, but I like it because I wasn't going to be able to get all lowercase, and I wasn't going to be able to get all blue. So I just did a combination of everything. So I'm going to put some Mod Podge on there, keep those stickers down, hot glue under the tag to make it go across and over where the picks are glued to the jar. Hide the Missi, and there you have it. Better look at the final reveal. Project number 3. This jar and flowers project is a pumpkin transformation. A Dollar Tree drawer from a wood cube, a Dollar Tree pumpkin, a little pumpkin shelf sitter there, a Dollar Tree disposable cookie tin, and some Happy Spring, I think it says, that I cut out on my Cricut. Or Hello Spring. So again, I have to come in and get this price sticker off, and this one gave me a little bit more grief than usual. And after doing what I usually do, there was still a lot of adhesive on there, so I did go in and warm it up and wet sand it again, and then that helped. I created what I thought was a beautiful oatmeal and blue color. But as it turns out, it was just a little bit too dark for my Cricut words, but I don't realize that at first. So I am blissfully unaware as I enjoy looking at the color of the pumpkin, which is now a jar. All right. So I'm creating the little metal top for the jar, and I just trimmed it out from the disposable cookie tin, and rubbed out the bumpiness just using a little rag, a dry rag. And then this is Dollar Tree super glue. I do a pretty healthy dose. Press it down firmly and then push it down on the sides because of the shape of the pumpkin. You can see it a little better there now. The wood cube is a nice color. It's fine. It's the oatmeal color. I glue down the floral foam, and I'm about to do the words, and then I'm like, oh, no, there's not enough contrast. You can hardly see the sentiment. This is not good. No, this is not going to do. So you stay there. It's like I'm talking to the words. You stay there, and I'm going to fix this. So I had the oatmeal out still, and I just kind of took a raggedy little brush and got some lighter color on there. I was kind of wanting a little bit more of that blue to show through, so I wasn't really even about the coat. Set that aside and worked on the florals. I needed pretty long stems for this, longer than usual because they have to peek out from behind the little faux jar there that we've created. So after doing a dry fit, I realized I need a little bit more height, and I grabbed some tumbling tower blocks and just hot glue them in such a way to get the most height from just the 2 blocks there. And I paint them the same color as the little wood cube. Then I take some wood glue and hot glue. Oh wait, before I do that, I'm doing the words, and success. It looks wonderful. A great contrast, and the 2 colors look really pretty together. I had a lot of trouble getting those words on that transfer tape. I forgot to change the pressure because the regular pressure on my machine is it just goes too deep into the paper, and normally I would do less pressure, or else it takes me a little bit longer to get it on the transfer tape as it did here. I had that one little flower petal there that I had to work on. I shouldn't have bothered with it, but I did. Now here's the glue. Wood glue on the sides, and I put some hot glue top and bottom, and then I'm going to stand up the faux jar and press the two pieces together and make sure everything's straight. I just gotta slide it over just a little bit there, I decide. Okay, working on the florals now. I start in the middle, work my way out. I usually like to do the same left to right, front to back. And I've heard other creators talk about that as well. I love the choice of pink. I went for pink, and then I just chose a whole bunch of different pink ones. And I chose the daisies because I'm trying to make it like wildflowers, because it reminds me of picking them as kids and then coming home with them and putting them in a jar. So pop in some greenery there just to balance things out, and you'll get a good look at this at the final reveal. Project number 4. Next in the Jars and Flowers theme is this sweet spring wall decor. Some of these items I got from Amazon, but there are Dollar Tree alternatives, like the Scrabble tiles and the ribbon. So this is a Dollar Tree sign, and I'll be using the beads from these Dollar Tree garlands. Both I showed you in my recent Dollar Tree haul. So to start things off, I went ahead and removed the metal top, and I was careful to go all the way around before I twisted the knife underneath it, and was able to remove it without too much difficulty. Next, I do a dry fit with my words. I chose this Home Sweet Home stencil and just stenciled the word sweet. Here I am. These are my thinking fingers. I'm trying to decide what color to paint this based on the color of the beads. And I go for this sweet little green color that I made by adding some acrylic light blue paint to the oatmeal. And I was actually pretty surprised at how beautiful it was. I was like, whoa. I think this is a chippy brush, or I don't have enough paint, or a little bit of both. But there's how it turned out. Next, I made a homemade, the needle that you use to thread the beads on the twine. And I just cut a length of floral wire, fold it in half, and set the twine into the bottom, the loop that's created when you fold it in half. I devised a pattern for both sides because I'm going to wrap it around the jar so the back of the jar won't have any beads on it. So I wanted to make sure that the pattern was balanced. Once I was happy with it, I did the dry fit, and then I went ahead and removed it and set it off to the side. Time for the stenciling now, this time for real. I'm so challenged when it comes to keeping things straight that I did use a ruler to get that painter's tape there, and then painted down my stencil and or taped down my stencil and taped over the home words. I went ahead and did just the S with my paint dabber, and then checked it to make sure it looked okay, and it looked great. So I continued. My chalk paints tend to be on the thicker side, I think because a lot of times I don't screw the tops on tight, but I like them thick like that because I can always thin them out if I want, and they are great for stenciling as is, and this just turned out wonderful. I just love it. So thanks for sticking with me. There's one more project after this. For now, I'm arranging the letters to make the word spring. And I'm using my 2 glue method with the Elmer's wood glue and some hot glue with high temp glue sticks. And this is the garland. I'm just going to glue it on the back there. And I actually removed the tassel and looped my twine through the tassel. So I kept the same tassel and just trimmed it at the bottom. I made my bow using 2 loops cinched together with a zip tie to make an X, and then I put my green ribbon on top using the awareness ribbon bow. The bottom looked a little unbalanced, so I went ahead and folded the green ribbon and hot glued it on the back to balance things out. I completed the project by retying the hanging rope, and you'll get a better look at this during the final reveal. Project number 5. You've reached the 5th and final project of this Jars and Flowers theme, and this is a plant stake. The nice thing about this is the price is not on a sticker, it's on a easily removable tag. So I'm going to go in and cover up the writing that's already there, but the oatmeal paint that I had saved was a little bit too watery and it wasn't covering it up. So I added some blue, and I loved the effect. It was like a streaky, almost marble effect, and it helped to cover up the words. Frankly, I was a little bit tired of painting by this point. So that is the last of it. I'm going to rub some burnt umber acrylic paint on the stake part, and that's just to make it a little bit more high-end, even though this is a Dollar Tree project. The stake also had an easily removable hanging tag. So both of these had a hanging tag, and neither one of them are going to be hanged. So this is kind of an organic creation. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to glue some flowers on instead of paint, so I did that, but I used super glue because I thought super glue should be used on the metal, but I did not like how it was sitting. It just, well, for one, super glue doesn't dry right away, so I kept having to straighten it up because it kept sort of lolling off to one side. So I did go in after and put a little hot glue down underneath the petals to make it sit a little flatter. I'm using these same wildflowers that I used in the previous projects. Still going with the pink. I just want to thank you for sticking around for the whole video by now. I really enjoyed this theme, and I liked having everything a match. That's always fun to do. So thank you, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already done so, and give me a big thumbs up. And if you want to comment, or if you're not like a talker, just leave an emoji. You don't have to say anything. So any YouTube thing you can do would be much appreciated. In the meantime, I'm going to finish things up here. This is why I keep my stalks with the empty sticks, because a lot of times I'll leave the leaves and I'll save the leaves. So once I was happy with what I glued on there, I flipped it over And I'm doing my 2 glue method here. Not too weird. Dollar Tree super glue. And then I'm coming in with a little bit of hot glue. And that just is amazing.